My prince, I have warned Kamaka against calling ring over the outside force, but still she delights in rusting their weapons and muddying their soil, which tells me that someone must have put her up to this trickery, someone she trusts. She admires you, my prince, but I say that she is a storm you cannot control. Onikaza will not thank you for prodding the eel's den. You have given enough faith to trickster Nagati. Now take Arama's example and await the hatching of the egg. Your turbulent skies speak of change and upheaval. I say let them come, but save your strength for the days the sky opens. I have recommended that Kamaka seek you out. There is a place for her in the fleet if you mind yourself in need of Amara's sharpened beak. Barati.
He smells one touched by the great eel, does Barati.
A sizable Emua tilts his head up and down. Up and looks down his nose at you, flaring his nostrils with hungry interest.
You are a man who sits across a fire with death, Akira?
You're a man who sits across the fire with death. The pallid knight and I are on familiar terms. Right. Pallid knight and I are on familiar terms. He nods, clasping his hands with quiet delight.
For glutting mighty Tangaloa and hurling foes into their next life, Barati can offer payment. Coins for feeding hungry gods. Akira?
Akira, you collect bounties.
Rewarding those who appease the great eel. This is Barati's cause. May the beasts of the dreaming lands never know famine.
Barati inclines his head and touches his brow, holding the pose with deep reverence. What bounties do you have?
Tangaloa rolls a hungry eye toward Dichila, a Valian captain who scouts for luminous Adra in sacred lands.
Squeezes his knuckles. Okay, I'll take it.
Akira. Tangaloa knew it would be so. Dichila sails her voyager Alicio around the waters south of Nikitaka. The great eel hungers for her soul.
Touches his brow and inclines his head.
Ask, but do not keep the great eel waiting.
Great eel, folks. Great eel.
You make a habit of turning up uninvited.
The Queen has affected a far more relaxed posture. A pair of tigers lounge indolently beside her seat.
Kahopa, Tangaloa. Welcome, our guest.
He nods down to the cats. They fix you with attentive stares that cause many of the courtiers and attendants to gasp.
Watch out. When these things lick, well, I hope for your sake you're not ticklish.
Right, they'll rip your skin off.
You travel with a brave crew, Watcher.
Good.
Nothing to fear, I say. If a queen cannot wrangle two cats, what right has she to the Deadfire?
Drags a hand over both of their massive heads. They lean into the gesture.
Your purpose and your temperament seem well paired. Welcome to my garden. Now, what is it you're after?
Directions?
Sail west from Nikitaka's harbor. I would tell you to watch for a lighthouse, but there. Watcher, I hope you're enjoying my city.
You keep interesting pets, Highness.
Fine beasts, are they not? Gifts from the Wapua, a tribe of proud animal trainers. I named them Kahopa and Tangaloa, which makes the priests very unhappy.
She grins to herself.
Aruihi thinks I should feed my enemies to them alive and screaming. Akira, I have given it thought.
Pats Tangola on her head. Not content to let attention go astray, Kahopa shifts it over until her ears are under the Queen's fingers. You've been my head ever since we first met.
Ah, Akira. But listen how the Watcher flatters me.
Chuckles to herself and shares a smile with the attendants in earshot. When her gaze swivels back to you, a presence like a storm cloud settles over your thoughts.
I cannot plant a seed in untilled soil. Akira, I want for there to be trust between us.
He raises her eyebrows to make sure you're paying attention.
The trading companies send spies to every corner of the mountain. I say there are places they cannot go.
If you can't feel at home in your palace, communication is the least of your concerns. Yeah, I would say that.
You and Aruihi think alike. This is my oasis, I say, not my prison. But you did not climb all the way up the mountain to pay compliments, I say.
You feel a light tug at the mental connection breaks. She settles back in her chair. Okay, tell me, I wish to discuss Owana. Wait now.
We are the stewards of the Deadfire. Our ancestors made this pact with the goddess Nagati long before Ukaizo, before the island vanished.
Ah, so it is true then. So she must have been there then. How long have Owana been?
How long does coral grow? It is said the tribes assembled when Kohopa took his first mouthful of Amira's hatchling, and we will be here until the sea rises above our heads.
You mentioned a pact with Nagata?
The one which taught us to shape water.
A light, youthful smile overtakes her.
It is said that Nagati bound her 4 guardians to protect the islands, the Adra, the seas, and the tribes. In return, she gifted them the forms of water shaping. For so long as our promise is kept, the goddess gives us dominion over water. Speak on. A friend of the crown should be well informed, I say.
Right, tell me about Nagata.
Neketaka is older than our memory. We found the great city in ruins, and the Kahanga have spent generations replacing every cracked stone.
Who built it?
The Huana, of course. The mark of our ancestors runs deep. Walls and districts are not how we would build a city today, but this place has echoes of the past. And our future, I say, if we can but reach to grasp it.
This is Hawana City, but the trading companies are both represented here. So considers your reflection. Nodding.
The Valians were very forthright in their desire to carve out a permanent outpost, I say. When cannon shot echoed across the seas, the crown opened negotiations with Rawatai's armada. A healthier alternative to war.
True.
My brother thinks I am too lenient with our visitors. I say I will accept even this uneasy balance. First, a question of my own.
She pulls her fingers and observes you closely.
This city is not how the tribes would live. Walls stand between neighbors, and the beach is too far to walk comfortably. There are angles of this city I cannot see from my garden. What place has Neketaka in the great pattern of the Deadfire?
You occupied, you occupy this place which you found but did not build. Time will tell if it's a good fit.
I should tell Aruihi to send more philosophers to the palace. Akira, my thanks for your perspective. I say you give me much to consider.
Why do you put up with a trading company?
Because we are the shrub in the shadow of an old growth.
Oh,
Even the gods may protest, but this city blooms from the wealth of foreigners. Aruihi would have me force them back to their ships. I say it is better to feed my allies under a single roof.
Well, you ask me who
They
you be
tell me
thinking
her
of.
song goes...
You find a young man with long blonde hair drawn into a simple club. His clothes are spare but well tailored, and his armour, a fine brigandine in blue and silver, is polished to a shine. He leans casually to one side, a clean hand on his hip, and sighs, bored. His eyes light up when he sees you.
Hello there. Come to have a word? I don't bite, I promise.
I promise. Only if you want me to.
Yes?
Yeah, what about yourself?
Gladly, my friend. Gladly. And how kind of you to ask.
He clears his throat with a theoretical wave of his hand.
I am the youngest son of a noble house. Now, don't make that face. Poor, desperate fool, you must be thinking. Well, waste not your sympathies on me. Truly, I consider it a boon rather than a punishment. All the comfort and none of the responsibility. What's not to like about that? As I was loafing about my father's estate, I thought, well, Gervard, isn't it time you made a name for yourself as well? So here I am. And though I dare say I'm little use in a fistfight, I can do a fair bit of magic and draw a lovely map. So I've taken to charting the interior wilderness of the Deadfire's larger islands. But truly, if I could only inspire others as I myself have been inspired by those old tales, why, it would be marvelous.
Marvelous.
Anyway, enough of my prattling. Surely you've other things to do.
What can you teach me?
Oh, it would be my absolute pleasure. For a price, of course. 3,000 copper? Well, I'll...
What is this? What is this fucking shenanigans with all this? Hey. Do that as well. Then we'll go to the inn. Get them, speak to them, because they'll have something to say. But like I say, I'll have to keep them together, but also keep them separate, which is quite an annoyance. The Dawn Stars will share their crops, and the Queen will allocate the majority for the gullet. The old man's eyes glisten.
I heard of missionaries distributing food throughout the gullet, though I did not think it could be true. Not in this lifetime could I have hoped for more. To have garnered our Queen's generosity, I ache to believe it.
Ooh.
Never can I thank you enough, Watcher who has the ear of both kith and gods. Always the Raparu will know of your kindness. Should you need refuge within Nekataka, know that the Raparu will stand by your side.
Take care, old man.
May Amira's winds ever fill your sails, boy. We will not forget what you have done for us.
Nice. Cool. Well, like I say though, I'll need to do...
My fingers be fat, furry, but they're ever so.
Nice. Okay. Read it here. Sure, I can read it, right? I thought, like I said, I thought she was coming back in. It was just somebody else. I was like, oh, that was close. Oh yeah. Ah, there we go. Good dang. This afternoon I walked the streets of Nikitaka and felt an unusual spring in my step. I cannot be sure if it's the fine weather or the archipelago or my great distance from the deerwood that has blasted goose and fox in that has gifted me this buoyancy of spirit. But I am grateful and nonetheless. I have seen no sign of the girl, Helena be praised. God's willing, I have slipped her net at last. The shadows are strange here, seeming to move of their own accord. As I passed from Queensberth to Pickery's Overlook this morning, I could have sworn I saw one turn to face me, then another. I fled the area as quickly as I could, and as far as I can tell, I was not followed. I have many enemies, as any man of roguish adventurous mind should, though none have caused us to search for me here. I know these shadows must be a trick of the mind, but still I am uneasy. The next entry is written in a shaky, wild hand, clearly penned in great haste. As I put me down to bed this evening, I heard a faint whispering beneath my window. I always leave it open to better catch the breeze, and thanks be to Helia for it, or I might have been none the wiser. However, when I went to investigate, no one was there, and yet I know I heard voices. I may be old, perhaps even paranoid, but I am not crazy. I must leave this place with all haste. God protect me in my flight. On the next and final page of the journal is a symbol of Wodica, a broken crown scrawled in a deep red ink. Okay, dokie. Shake that booty, shake that booty.
Have you got any leads on that mad old goat yet?
There's a journal. Kane flips through the Oswald's journal. She stops and looks up at you, eyes wide. Someone has hastily scrawled the broken crown symbol of Wodica across the last page. Kane mutters to herself. She traces the symbol with her finger and frowns.
Oh, Oswald, you really stepped in it now, haven't you? Getting mixed up with Woodikins? You damned old fool.
She shakes her head sadly and closes the journal with a snap.
Where could they have taken him?
Must have sailed through half the Deadfire to get to Nikitaka. Anything catch your eye?
Not really. To be honest, I spent most of the trip out from Defiance Bay, bent over the bulwark, giving Andra a taste of my innards. I hate boats.
I don't. I like boats. Say nothing.
Damn, if only I could find that captain who gave us passage to the Deadfire. Bet he'd know. Wait a tick.
She wakes. What?
When our ship neared Nekataka, the bosun told me about a weird temple on an island in the Karatapu Channel, southwest of the city. She wouldn't tell me what it was for, though. Got real spooked when I asked.
Seems like I say nothing.
Why don't you go take a look?
Marks the location on your map. Flush.
With any luck, you'll catch the old goat there in one piece, and we'll both leave here with some weight in our purse.
Hopefully. I'll hurt again, eh?
I know exactly what you're thinking.
Maia folds her arms and clicks her tongue against the roof. I secretly doubt it. What's that?
You're asking yourself, how did I let the Royal Deadfire Company plant an informant in my crew?
She chuckles to herself, but there's a lot of resignation to it.
My superiors might expect me to report in from time to time, but don't read too much into it. You're not the only big thing happening around here. I'm in this for a lot of information, a little diplomacy, and plenty of target practice.
Well, at least you're up front about spying on me.
Better that you hear it from me than someone else, right?
I kinda knew that.
The company isn't in the business of reassigning officers outside of the mission unless they've got a damn good reason. And you are a damn good reason. Take the compliment.
What if my actions damage Royal Deadfire Company?
This whole campaign is a risk-benefit analysis. The Navy knows you're a gamble, and they're factoring in all potential losses.
She wipes a line of black powder from her cheek.
Rawatai is here to do some good work, since the Huana can't seem to do it themselves. Maybe just try and stay out of our way.
Alright, so now I've got to make sure they two are not together. Great. I'm seeking e-office. I want no part in trading company drama.
Then I look forward to seeing how long it takes before you find yourself in someone's back pocket. Well, guess you ought to meet the bird. Ishi is smarter than he looks, but don't expect him to do any tricks.
Nods towards the colourful board of prey hopping around your ankles.
Ishi, come.
That's a good-looking bird.
One hand and waggles, he's going to take it, he's going to get taken off, isn't he?
Hey, birdie. Hey, birdie.
Signs of recognition towards Maia are already here. Cool. Good bird. Insight.
That'll go right to his head.
Yep. Edir nods at Ishi, who bobs his head in response. Edir nods twice, and the large bird replies with two head bobs. Edir begins tilting his head up and down, and Ishi follows it with vigorous full-body bobs. Encouraged, Edir starts bouncing his own body up and down, at which point Ishi stops bouncing and watches Edir with cockeyed curiosity.
Did your friend suffer a head wound?
I have no idea.
Before we get into deeper waters, I've got a question.
There's your throat.
You've got a ship and a title. Being captain means more than just wearing a big hat. A lot of tough calls to be made.
I didn't exactly choose this life, but I'm trying to make the best of it.
Life at sea. It does have a way of simplifying things down to the bare elements.
Ready to say more, but stops herself.
A crew can be like family. They can also be like a nest of squalling infants.
Yep.
Let's say your galley cook was fixing to organize the rest of the crew into a mutiny. How would you handle it?
I get ahead of the problem and compromise with the crew.
Sort it out as equals. Interesting.
Maybe.
Of course, the only right answer is the one that works in a given time and place. I just wanted to hear yours.
What's yours?
Ask me again when I'm wearing the big hat. That'll be a different Maia. But enough about me. Glad to be aboard, Captain.
Good boy.
I've got some answers.
Right, I do want to keep speaking to her, but
Now,
I think what I want to do is...
Hey.
Kara, have we met?
Shit.
oh, have you forgotten our little altercation so soon? How convenient for you.
Levels to KO with a steely glare and begins to cut off the man's indiscretions of his fingers.
Last you were here, you got drunk as a hagfish in a barrel of mead.
Kara, as if this pit could afford good honey wine.
Oh, don't say that.
Then, when I refused to serve you any longer, you stole a bottle of my finest wine from behind the bar.
Classic.
Kara, how could I let you poison your clients? Ngati has not deigned to bless a drop of what passes through here.
You drank it all, then clambered onto the stage, pushed the dancer off, and serenaded the crowd with a sloppy rendition of My Wahaki.
Clamber? These legs
Oh.
do not
Oh,
clamber.
grits his dreams and points to his thighs.
Apologize.
You'll have to teach me that one later.
Then, when I shoved you out the door and told you not to come back, you tried to kiss me.
Ah. Though he looks as if he's about to protest, thinks twice and holds his silence.
Frankly, I'm surprised someone hasn't killed you yet.
Plants his hands on his hips and does his best to loom over the large Enuma man, though the effects is less than impressive. I'll vouch for him. This one's on you.
Kara, punish me appropriately if I misbehave.
I'll hold you to that, you slippery bastard.
I'm looking for more here. Oh.
You were saying? Speak your mind, Captain.
You're one of Kana's siblings, and oh, that's yeah.
Sure am. And I heard that you two spent some time together. Funny how the gods toss things together.
There you go.
He came back from the Deerwood with his head full of stories about the Engwithans. Used them to make an argument for our expansion into the north, and by the gods did people ever listen. He lost some of that childish glow, but weird ideas stayed with him.
Well, yeah, he did when he found out what actually happened.
You clearly had some sway on his opinions, more than I ever did. Wish you had told Kana to give up on the poetry. He's got no ear for it.
No, he doesn't. Glad he's making a difference. Take it easy on him. I did my best to help Kana find the meaning he sought.
You kept him alive in any case, while he wandered the
Get
lands
me
in
alive.
search of
He was
stories.
a great companion.
I do with bullets what Kana did with words. Just in case you were wondering, the comparison ends there.
Maia tips her head and studies you to make sure the point came across. Tell me about your family.
Well, my parents came from the Deadfire. I'm getting a taste of my roots.
Tails and glances away.
After they immigrated to Rawatai, their talents caught the Ranganui's eye. He saw them as this spectacle, this achievement of the old country, I guess. So they were honored guests. Not many Huana rose to distinction in Takoa. We were also curiosities. Even as we broke the same bread and tossed back the same wine, the Ranganui's friends always checked under the table to see if I had a tail. Kana thought it was hilarious.
island in Eora aren't that different?
You're telling me. Growing up in the Ranganui shadow wasn't all bad. We had tutors and advisors at our disposal, and lots of folk from stranger parts than these. I spent my days learning to shoot, while my more academic siblings learned to express themselves. I leave you to judge who spent their time better.
How did you and Itsua first get acquainted?
I won a shooting competition at the Ranganui's estate. This was a few years before enlisting with the Navy. As a reward, he gave me the freedom of the Royal Eyrie and said I could take my pick of the warbirds. Stinkfeathers here kicked a rather pretty hawk off my arm so he could have me all to himself. Been inseparable ever since.
Who's a good bird?
Uh-oh. That's his "I'm hungry and you're wasting my time" face. Better step back, Captain.
Alright. Hey, Coxie. I can level up you up.
Tell me, here we are again, Watcher. I thought we had seen the last of each other after the Hollowborn crisis.
So did I.
I must admit, accompanying you to Twin Elms worked out well for both of us.
Gives you a rare smile and just a red sash around her breastplate. After a moment, she glances off into the middle distance and the smile fades with a tick of doubt. I'm glad you're by my side.
Perfecto.
Perfecto.
You only have to ask.
What happened with you and Maia? Lily turns her head in your direction, eyebrows raised and her eyelids nicotinating out and back.
Quay.
Wow. You and Maia, you were together, weren't you?
Maia was a good companion and a skilled warrior. But her imagination got the better of her. It appears to have gotten the better of you as well.
She runs her fingers along a wayward feather, pointing to an odd direction from her wrists, pressing it flush against her skin. Can you tell me more about what happened after we defeated Theos?
After we parted ways, I returned to the Republics and reported to the Duke's Bells. The trade agreement we brokered with the Unamenfath was quite lucrative for the Republics. The Deerwood was still recovering from Waidwin's legacy and was in no position to compete. The Duke's Bells was so pleased with my performance that I was made the personal guard of the Duquess Spirento. Spirento is the most beautiful of all the Republics, and though I should not admit this, I cherish the Duquess above all other Duke's Bells. Still, our profit came at the expense of the Deerwood. The fruit of victory was not so sweet, knowing that the Deerwood suffered because of my actions.
Okay, so what's your opinion on what's happening with Eothas?
Whatever they are up to cannot be good for any of us. At their best, the gods are powerful children. At worst, they are little more than mad beasts taking out their anger on our world. I have little interest in distinguishing which type Eothas is.
She raised the back of her hand up and down, dismissed the thought. How do you like Deadfire so far?
Where I am assigned is of no concern to me. But I do think the Deadfire can be profitable for the Republics. If the Dukes need me here, I am glad to serve them.
And how are you?
Good. I have no concerns, Watcher.
Easy enough.
Watcher?